Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Notre Dame fans, whenever you are tuning in to this week's Blue and Gold Roundtable. I'm Mike Singer, with me Eric Hansen, and we'll have some other Blue and Gold staffers join us throughout the show. Folks, if you're watching on YouTube, watch live, watch it back, please hit the thumbs up on this video, subscribe to the channel for more content. And this show is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, and no one's going to get you ready for game day like Academy. So swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need, from grills to jerseys and more. So be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. You got 8 Academy stores across the state of Indiana, and a new store coming very soon. Actually, it may have opened. I'm going to have to double check on that, in Mishawaka. So check it out. Academy Sports and Outdoors, academy.com. Gear up today with Academy. Eric, how's your Sunday going, my friend?
It's going pretty good. It was nice to have a noon start where you could get a decent bedtime.
Yeah. So I want to start off this show as we always do. I mean, this is a pretty new show, but Eric, you're one of how many AP poll voters? And Get-Go, thank you for the $2 super chat.
There are roughly 65 of us.
Okay.
Sometimes that number goes up and down if somebody loses their job or gains a job during the season, but 65.
Okay. So you are okay. So here up on the screen for folks watching on YouTube is Eric's poll. I'm not going to read through it, but you do have Notre Dame at 16. So tell us about your placement for Notre Dame. They were what, 19 before?
I had them 19 last week. They are 21 in the actual poll. And what gave me the confidence to put them where I did is the defensive improvement. I think offensively, they're checking all the boxes. And you look at the matchups they have the rest of the season, and I think they're going to continue to improve. I don't think Saturday was the ceiling of what we'll see with this offense. But from a defensive standpoint, to hold Arkansas to, I know that this is probably gobbledygook to a lot of you guys, but pass efficiency defense rating was 101.1. Notre Dame led the country in that category at 104.4. So they actually did better in that game than what they did as a team leading the nation last year. So that is significant improvement against a really good Arkansas offense and good passing offense. That's what really led me to believe it. The other thing too is you look at the two teams they've lost to, Miami and Texas A&M are 3-6 in the poll this week. Now, what I think is going to be a challenge for Notre Dame is the rest of its schedule maybe not being ranked. And we can talk about that in more detail if you want, but some key close losses: NC State by 2, USC by 2, Boston College by 4, Pitt by a touchdown. They had a lot of their future teams that might have gotten ranked at some point all
Syracuse.
Lost close games. Syracuse got blown out by Duke.
At home. I mean, with Angeli out. Yeah.
Right. So those are, when you look at possible teams that could be ranked, you would look at USC, maybe if they beat Michigan, might pop back in.
Yeah.
And then Navy could be undefeated if they get past North Texas. Their schedule is backloaded. They play North Texas, Notre Dame, USF, and Army kind of late in the season.
Yeah. Folks, again, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to our channel if you have not done so yet. It's really interesting, just like Notre Dame schedule, because I feel like it's a matter of taste. Would you rather have 2 good losses, right? I know it's a loss, but you look at this AP poll right now. Your 2 losses are to number 6 and number 3 by 4 points total. Would you rather split one of those 2 and then but have a really bad loss on your resume, or win both of those but then lose to 2 bad teams? You probably still take the 2 big wins, because that's how the committee looks at them. But it's just it's interesting, man. And
they've modified their look a little bit in their newest kind of guidelines. They used to not give you much credit for a good loss.
Talking
They
about Eddie?
used to continue to schedule tough non-conference opponents. So they're kind of adding an emphasis of good losses now, which
Okay.
not be really a thing. And so that will help Notre Dame in this evaluation. The other thing is Notre Dame continues to win and continues to look like a team that's improving. You get in the committee's head of the hypothetical, wow, I wonder if Notre Dame, if they had a rematch of those teams, could beat them, given that they're so improved. Now, those teams are improving too. A&M is a lot better defensive team to hold our Mississippi, or I'm sorry, it was Auburn, to under 200 total yards, in a 16-10 game. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So I'm really interested in just like when every time we post a YouTube video or post a new tweet and get the responses, because after this very show, after A&M, someone dropped a $5 super chat. It was probably Get Go, and he was like, "You guys all go around the table, and what's the likelihood Notre Dame was at the table?" And we said between 50 and 60%. We agreed on that, Eric.
Yeah.
And we were like laughed off of the show. It was like Notre Dame might not make a bowl game, and now it's like I posted a video with Ari Wasserman. Folks would really watch that. He really was fired up this morning talking about Notre Dame. And now all the comments are, of course Notre Dame's going to make it at 10-2. I'm like, it's completely shifted from 2 weeks ago. Fire everyone. We suck. We're not making a bowl, to what do you mean we wouldn't get in at 10-2? This is ridiculous. The discussion is Notre Dame would be a lock or not at 10-2. If you think Notre Dame is a lock at 10-2, you don't understand how many teams need to lose. You can't afford there to be like two Big 12 teams to get in, right? You need the Big 12 to not have like a Texas Tech and an Iowa State, right? You need the Georgia Techs of the world, the Florida States. Like you need these teams have to start losing, right? There is a world where 10-2 does not get you in, especially with Notre Dame's schedule. Like Notre Dame, this guy, I wanted to pop this up, and then we're going to bring in Tyler James in a minute. Because I told him, I said, watch our show. I'm going to respond to your comment here. He says, bullshit, winning you're in. And then he says, plenty of 2-loss teams got in last year that didn't play in a conference championship game. And then he says, heck yeah, because we're a story program that has shown time and time again that we are good and people want to watch us, that Notre Dame gets the benefit of the doubt. I'm thinking to myself, absolutely insane take.
Right. Where he gets tripped up, Mike, I think, is the old bowl system. The viewership was part of the equation.
Did SMU just get in over Bama last year? Am I forgetting that?
No. But for the committee, it's not part of the
correct.
equation.
That's what I'm saying. SMU
if you're going to the Pop-Tarts Bowl, they want to fill seats. For the CFP, it's merit based. Now you can have your conspiracy theories about that, but in their rules, that's what they're looking at. It is merit based, and it's not a slam dunk. They're going to need a lot of things to happen. The good thing is, Mike, the Big Ten and the SEC teams will kind of take care of themselves. They'll kind of cannibalize themselves. Where it gets sticky is the Big 12. There's 4 teams ranked right now. The only good team any of those 4 have played outside the conference is Mississippi State. That was Arizona State, and they lost to them. Mississippi State should be ranked and not Arizona State, in my opinion. Texas Tech and Iowa State don't play each other during the regular season. That's another bugaboo. So, again, Notre Dame's, those 2 teams being strong at the beginning of the year is going to help Notre Dame in that argument against the Big 12 teams, because they will not have a non-conference top 25 win among their contenders. They just won't.
All right. Going to pop Eric out of here. Actually, Eric, if you want to say hi to your longtime coworker, there's Tyler.
Hey, I know that guy.
We saw each other at a decent hour after Tyler had 2 Domino's pizzas mistakenly delivered to his room.
It was a whole ordeal. I never went back and listened if you could hear people knocking on the hotel door in our post game takeaways video.
Yeah, she was coming back with that second pizza, the makeup pizza. So okay, you can lose me, and I'll be back.
All right. So Tyler and I recorded a video Thursday afternoon. We post Friday afternoon where Tyler takes a look at his 3 keys to the game. And I was like, you know what would be fun, Tyler? Let's take a peek at them. Let's review those keys. Your first one was making Arkansas quarterback Talon Green uncomfortable. And Notre Dame sacked him 3 times, picked him off once. Would you say that was a success there? I mean, he had the 81 rushing yards, of course, the long of 54, but 53% completion percentage, sacked 3 times, a pick. You think Notre Dame did well here?
Yeah, I think you can't ask for much better than that in terms of, especially the way Notre Dame's defensive pass rush has been playing. To be able to sack him 3 times, I think is a great accomplishment. Arkansas's offensive line is a good one. Maybe not as good as A&M or Miami's, but still a very good offensive line. And to sack someone with that kind of mobility certainly isn't easy. So Notre Dame passed with flying colors with that key to the game.
Real quick, Paul says, if good wins matter, why is Alabama ranked below Georgia? I mean, the AP poll has them ranked. Alabama's ranked above Georgia. Was it Eric's maybe? Eric, did you have them? Eric, did you have Alabama ranked higher or lower than Georgia?
I have Alabama over Georgia. It was the coaches poll, I think, where it was flip-flopped, where it was weird, where Georgia was ahead of them.
So, yeah. So, see, the thing is, it's not like this is a committee poll. This is the coaches poll. Or some people like to say this is a
SID.
Your SID. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah.
If you think some AP poll voters don't take it seriously, I can't imagine how unserious the coaches take the coaches poll.
All right, Eric, kicking you out. Thank you, sir. I just saw that. Okay, so the coaches poll, which again, it's a poll of a lot of different polls. So like Tyler just said, I don't know how serious they take that. All right, key number 2, keep feeding Jay Love and Jadarian Price. So Price got 13 carries, Love got 14. Now, this probably would be different numbers if Notre Dame wasn't up like 30 at halftime or whatever.
Right,
but
yeah.
It was, I think it was 27 or 28 carries against Purdue. Pretty much right in line there. What do you think about these running backs?
Yeah, and they also impacted the game as receivers
That's true.
too. So you got them the ball in a number of ways, and yeah. I mean, what the running game has turned into, or the running backs and their usage, whether it's as a runner or as a receiver, I think is what many Notre Dame fans hoped it would become with the talent levels of Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price, and certainly you need the offensive line to help those guys out. I think they've been increasingly doing a better job with that. And yeah, I thought the game plan made a lot of sense. That Mike Denbrock is on a hot streak, I think, with certainly 2 games in a row. They had scored, the first team offense had essentially scored 9 touchdowns in a row in terms of drives going between the Purdue and Arkansas games. So hard to complain too much about what they're doing offensively right now.
Yeah, and your third key was avoiding the CJ Carr turnover, and CJ Carr had the best Notre Dame quarterback performance since. I'm putting you on the spot. I mean, he was incredible.
Yeah, statistically, he was the best since, or at least in terms of passing yards, Sam Hartman against Central Michigan, and then
which is Central Michigan at home.
Or no, that was the last time someone went over 300. Right. He had the most yards since Jack Cohn in the Fiesta Bowl, which was Marcus Freeman's first game as head coach.
Right.
And it's not like Notre Dame was airing it out, or even like CJ Carr played the whole game. If you remember that Fiesta Bowl, that was back and forth, and they were throwing because they couldn't run, and they had to keep trying to score against Oklahoma State in that game. So, yeah, CJ Carr was great. Didn't commit a turnover. The team as a whole didn't commit a turnover. That was the first time this season that has happened for Notre Dame. And then defensively, they forced 2 turnovers. So a good positive trend for Notre Dame in the turnover margin after it was sort of the opposite of that in the season opener at Miami.
Tyler, what'd you make of the defense in that game. I mean, obviously much improved, but do you think there was any like fool's gold to that? Like that Arkansas just kind of gave up? Is there any? I'm just trying to, play any devil's advocate there. Like, or were you very impressed?
I thought Arkansas certainly had some maybe unforced errors, or maybe like settling for a field goal the first drive. I was like, I don't know. I feel like this would be a position I would want to be aggressive if I were Arkansas. And Arkansas was content with kicking a field goal. And I think the defense certainly improved. I wouldn't say that they didn't. But I don't think Arkansas necessarily played its best offensively, and I don't know that was 100% a result of the way Notre Dame was playing defensively.
Yeah, that's true, for sure. I memean, yeah, that field goal when they marched down the field rather easily, and then the touchdown drive, which Tyler Horka, put out a tweet that Notre Dame's defense is just bad. I see Horka nodding backstage. And then, from there, they did turn it around, and then, only just allowed a field goal the rest of the way. And I will die on the hill that turnover on down should count as the turnover. And if they do, then Notre Dame had 4 on the day. So, quite the strong, bounce back performance for the Irish after 2 really poor games defensively. Well, I mentioned Horka. Let's bring him in. Tyler, thoughts on some of the things we've been discussing? We got the round table here.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of fool's gold on both sides. I don't think Notre Dame is all of a sudden a top 10 team in the country for the way that they beat Arkansas. Arkansas fired their head coach today. Like, how are we not in this? What are we, Mike? 15 minutes into this and we haven't mentioned that? Like, that program is in a bad spot. And it's the reason that I switched. I don't know why I ever had Arkansas winning this game. Maybe I was too down on Notre Dame after a couple of games there. But yeah, like Arkansas is in a bad way. 2-3, 3 losses in a row. They quit yesterday. I mean, Tyler was in the same press box as me. I saw it. White flag, effort went out the window type of situation for Arkansas. So, but I think Eric makes some good points too. I listened to y'all's post-game show. Like, that might be the best remaining pass defense that Notre Dame had left on the schedule. And CJ Carr made it look like Swiss cheese. And these Notre Dame wide receivers are phenomenal. And I don't know how Jaden Greathouse got his foot down on the one catch. And then these guys are getting wide open on other catches. And even Malachi Fields is connecting with Jordan Faison on, fake punts. Like, there's a lot of good things going for Notre Dame. But, yeah, I stand by what I said when I tweeted this Notre Dame defense is still bad because they looked really bad on that drive. And then, insult to injury was a 344-pound lineman, putting it right up the middle on them and getting into the end zone. So credit to Notre Dame for rebounding from that, though, because at that point, when it was 14-10, I looked around the press box and I was like, get ready, boys. We're in for 41-40 again. And I'm not sure Notre Dame's not going to be on the right side of it again. So I think the offense is too good for that at this point, though, to lose a game like that. Yeah. And the defense certainly improved too. So I will give some flowers to Mike Singer for calling the result to a degree. He said it would be a comfortable win, and it was more than that. So I'll give credit to Notre Dame for that part. They deserve the most flowers. They absolutely blew Arkansas out. It was not close.
I just want my honorable mention in your flower story. That's all I want. That's all I want. This is my question. Okay, so Chris says, I'm sorry, but Notre Dame is without a doubt a top 10 team. I've seen enough. And Ari Wasserman said that he thinks that Notre Dame, like, talent-wise, is a top 10 team. But, like, with 2 losses, you can't put them in your top 10. We'll see as the season develops. But my curious thing is, again, I keep talking about 2 weeks ago after the A&M game. Is it the same people who were saying we suck, fire everyone, we're not making a bowl? Is it the same people who are now saying we're definitely a top 10 team and we're making the playoff no matter what? Like, if we run the table, like, I'm just curious, like, do people change tunes, or is it like a different crowd? Is the angry crowd now out and now it's the optimistic crowd is here, or do people change tunes? That's what I really want to know. So if you're a fan and you're watching, please let me know. because it's just so interesting in this job. I do a YouTube show almost every day, and I read every single comment, whether it's live comment, you're watching back. I read the message board all day, of course, and it's just really interesting to see the discourse. I don't know if anyone else feels like that around here. Just the momentum, the discussion swing around Notre Dame football right now. I'm here for it, but it's just
that's why I think we can't like overreact to this game, because 7 days ago we were saying this defense is still bad, and they looked bad against Purdue. They did, and in the first 3 drives against Arkansas, they looked bad. I mean, if the Arkansas kid doesn't drop the ball on the first drive, it's probably a touchdown for Arkansas. I think there were 2 drops on the 3 and out on the second drive. Tyler mentioned settling for the field goal anyway after the first drop. And then I mentioned the third drive was an easy touchdown drive for Arkansas. Nothing was hard about that drive for Arkansas. So is that fully in Notre Dame's past just because they played very, very well since that point in the Arkansas game? I would say that the Notre Dame offense kind of dictated game flow and tempo of this game. The way that they've just said, nope, we're going to score. Arkansas was like, well, we're not playing that bad, but what the heck are we supposed to do? And by that point, the game was over. Don Schuler, as Tyler wrote in his turning point in 3 observations, like that was the end all be all for that football game. But I still can't fully forget like Arkansas just going right down the field and scoring on the 1 touchdown drive and looking good on the first drive as well.
All right, a couple of comments I want to pop up the screen. Barry says, wait, we have 8 games. Take 1 game at a time. I don't play for the team. I'm not coaching. You're not playing or coaching. We can discuss this. We can look ahead. Notre Dame shouldn't, but we can, which I still think Freeman kind of was with that punt run. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. Sonny D said, defense looked bad against Purdue in the first half. I do agree. Then the garbage time touchdown, it was much better in the second half. For sure. Even A&M game was okay in the second half. Just the 1 touchdown in the second half. And then obviously the first half was just abysmal. But we did have a super chat I want to throw to Eric. Eric and then Tyler James. Defense looks strong, but tougher offenses will test our weakness. Do you think this offense can carry us in shootouts? This is something you've been talking about, Eric.
Yeah, I do think that they can carry Notre Dame in shootouts during the regular season because these teams aren't complete. They're either flawed on one side of the ball or the other. They don't play a real complete team the rest of the season. However, then you get into the playoff and you don't want that to be this big level up where you do start to see teams that are complete on both sides of the season. So for me, the defense evolving is critical, just like the offense evolving last year was critical. Notre Dame was ready to meet that moment once it got into the playoff. The September version of Notre Dame's offense wouldn't have got it done in the playoff. So, yeah, I do think it's important, but I do think this offense is really, really good. I mean, some of CJ Carr's numbers, he's 10th now in the country in pass efficiency. The last 8 national championships have all been in the top 13 in that category. The last 8 national runner-ups, except for 1, have all been in the top 16. The one that wasn't, Notre Dame last year.
Tyler James?
Yeah, I think Tyler Horkin mentioned how yesterday Notre Dame's offense sort of dictated the tone of the game, and I think that's going to be the way things trend moving forward. I think Notre Dame's offense is going to be able to continue to doing that. I'm not sure that there's going to be tough enough defenses that can force Notre Dame into multiple 3 and outs or turnovers in the first half that get them off their game. And I just think we're continuing to see a group that's getting better and better offensively for Notre Dame. And the defense is a work in progress still. I don't think, and I think that's okay. I think we've seen enough this season to, I think people if there's anyone out there that's expecting all of a sudden at some point in the season Notre Dame's defense is going to look like what it looked like last year, I think we have that has to be given up. Like maybe Notre Dame gets there eventually somehow with incremental improvement by the end of the year, or worse opponents for that matter, maybe.
Sure.
But I just don't think, like, I think we have to sort of separate and just, hey, this is what we've seen. Let's grade it upon that curve. Okay, how much better are they now than they were a couple weeks ago? And then if you do that on the flip side for the offense, I mean, the offense its growth is exponential. And so I think they're going to be able to carry this defense through tough moments moving forward.
Ty, go ahead, and then I got an ad read.
Yep. So my column after the game yesterday was about this very topic. I do 100% think that for the most part in the next 8 games, Notre Dame's offense is going to carry this football team, and it's going to be the stronger side of the ball. And Notre Dame's going to win maybe all of those games because of offensive football and the way that Mike Denbrock, CJ Carr, the connection there. I talked about it last week last week on one of these shows. Like that is real. The wide receivers are real. The offense, like every single part of this football team is coming together on that side of the ball. I am curious though. We talk about the CJ Carr redshirt freshman game. Is that like it can happen at any time? I'm sold on CJ Carr. Everyone in here watching, everyone participating should be sold on CJ Carr, but he is afforded a redshirt freshman first-time full-time starter game. When that comes, and if Notre Dame only scores 20 points in that game, can the Notre Dame defense hold somebody to fewer than 20 points like it did against Arkansas? Can it hold it to around 20? And we're sitting there at the end of that game saying, okay, CJ Carr wasn't Arkansas CJ Carr or Purdue CJ Carr, but Notre Dame still won because it got enough from the offense, and the defense said, yeah, we've got your back this time. I need to see that. I want to see that. I'm more sure that maybe it can happen now than I was 2 weeks ago, but it still has to happen. It could be a reality for this team at some point.
I think you said when. I think it's more of an if. You know, playing at Miami, at Arkansas. I know Arkansas kind of, they left. Like Ty Washington said they might. They're talking about the fans, but I think it's an if at this point. Chris Lancaster says he's already kind of had those types of moments, but I think what Hork is saying is that game, just like a stinker of a game. But yeah, I think it's an if now. Carr is. I mean, I said it privately in our group chat. I was like, man, what if Notre Dame just doesn't have a great quarterback? Like, what if Minchie or Carr? I was talking about that, and I was like, I was nervous. I was a little bit pessimistic, but I'm fully bought in on this guy. I think he's the truth, and the truth in apparel. If you're a Notre Dame fan looking to gear up, it's home field. It is incredible. No one's doing game day gear like home field, and now you can get this corduroy hat. You got the Gothic type or the play like a champion. I mean, come on. They're getting new stuff all the time. This cool crew neck. The hats are sweet. I have the Notre Dame football box. This for folks watching on YouTube, this yellow tee that you see on the right is one of my favorites right now that I'm rocking in my collection. I'm wearing a home field shirt right now, and home field is the exclusive apparel sponsor of the show. The premium collegiate apparel brand based out of Indianapolis, and they've built their name by making the most comfortable, officially licensed, vintage-inspired college gear out there. We're talking hoodies, crew necks, tees, bomber jackets, hats, you name it. Like I've said, I've been rocking the home field collection for a while now. Absolutely love it. Great sponsor for the past few years. Highly recommend their stuff. Fits great. Go to homefieldapparel.com. Check out the Notre Dame line. And obviously, they've got a massive lineup of schools across the country. So get yourself something, get something for your loved one, whatever the case may be, friend, Christmas shopping, whatever. Go to homefieldapparel.com, check it out, find your favorite design, and get ready to rep your Notre Dame gear in style. Man, I had a really great point and then I forgot it. So, it probably wasn't very good. Tyler James, what else is on your mind with this game? I know you got to get out of here a little bit sooner than later. So, or not. I just saw your message.
Yeah, you're good. I could say it out loud too. Yeah, I'm not I can stick around longer if you want me to. But yeah, I think the offensive improvement is it's hard to figure out what is more real. I think the defensive improvement was the most important. I'm just not sure how real that is or how sustainable that is. And so I'm curious to see what that looks like moving forward. I think the the bright side of all of this is I feel like the secondary is getting its act together, and it's also getting its personnel together, and the fact that it knows who it wants to be out on the field in which situations. And then when you get Leonard Moore back out there, I think everyone's going to be better for it.
I actually remember my point now. Gitgo, thank you for the $5 super chat. You had me and Horka laughing. My point was, like, one of the shows last week, I said, we're going to know everything we need to know about this Notre Dame football team after the Arkansas game. I think who Notre Dame shows up to be against Arkansas is who they are. Now, I still don't think they can keep up the space offensively. And I don't think the defense is going to allow, come down to 13 points allowed per game. But I think that, Notre Dame winning games like 40-20 is maybe the blueprint moving forward. Like, I think the defense is going to be bend but don't break at times. That's going to be kind of what we expect to see. And then the offense is just going to be high flying. Does anyone disagree with that take? Is that Captain Obvious? Eric, go ahead.
Again, matchups matter in who you're facing. Here are the rankings of the scoring defenses Notre Dame has on the rest of its schedule. Starting with Boise at 75th, then 99th, 64th, 97th, 30th, 60th, 111th, and 110th. So there's not an elite defense there. When you flip it and look at the offenses, there are good offenses left. Okay. That's where I think Chris Ash has a steeper climb in terms of being sustainable with that defense. But they did face a very good one in Arkansas. I'm not saying that those other teams are going to lay down, but you are not going to see a defense that really challenges this offense unless they are making mistakes themselves until they get to the playoff or the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
So do you agree with me then? Like 40-20-ish, kind of the average score that Notre Dame's going to, maybe win by? Like, that's what it's going to look like?
I think so, if not a little bit higher in some games. Yeah. I mean, if they can, Arkansas wasn't a good defense, but if the defense starts doing its part in playing complementary football and giving them 3 and outs and good field position, then what's going to slow them down? So that's how I look at it. Again, there are teams that are good rushing defense teams. There's not any good pass defense teams left. And it's just a weird thing. Like in 2015, it was the opposite. Brian Van Gorder was going against all these awful offenses or average offenses and struggling. And Mike Denbrock had all these great top 25 defenses and was ripping through them with Deshaun Kaiser and those guys. So it's just sometimes the luck of the draw with who you get in your matchups, but those matchups matter.
With the offense, I want to see like what these guys look like when there's a little bit of resistance and pushback, because let's face it, Purdue, Arkansas provided none of that. And again, Notre Dame did what it had to do in those games. Tyler James has laid out the touchdowns on meaningful drives. It's almost 90%. Like they're almost 100%. They're scoring at will. So I never discount an offensive performance based on opponent, because like you could still see some offensive teams struggle against the worst of defenses. And Arkansas has some good players on defense, and Notre Dame made it look like they have zero. And that counts for something. The running game was awesome. The passing game was awesome. Notre Dame was by far the better team on that side of the ball. When you look at the other side of the ball, this is something that I think will have Notre Dame fans feeling better about where the defense is going. I broke down the Pro Football Focus grades in the last hour and a half and put those at blueandgold.com for our subscribers there. And we categorized them. Very good to elite is an 80+ overall. Good to very good is a 70+ overall. If you're in that range, anywhere above 70, you played a hell of a game. You played a good game, a very good game, or an elite game. 8 players fit the description for Notre Dame against Arkansas. 6 of them were from the defensive line. And what have we been screaming over and over and over again all season? The Notre Dame defense is bad because there's no pressure up front. They're not getting to quarterbacks, and everything that falls behind that is suffering subsequently and as a result. Not in this Arkansas game. They pressured Taylon Green double-digit times. They sacked him. They made him look uncomfortable. They made him look nothing like who he was in the first 4 games of the year, which was the most prolific offensive player in the country. And I am very, very intrigued to see if this trend continues, because if Gabriel Rubio is grading out number 1 like he did, that's a menace in the middle of the Notre Dame defensive line. You had Boubacar Traore up there off the edge, 3 more defensive tackles. Armel Mukum, obviously, he only played 6 snaps, but like Elijah Hughes and Jason Onye, if they're taking steps and you have depth at defensive tackle, you're in a good spot. And by the way, the 2 players who weren't defensive linemen in those 8, linebacker Madden Faremo, who I think we're going to see more and more and more of as the season goes along. Like, he is asserting himself as a force for this defense. And linebacker Kingston Villiamuasa, who we already know is a force for this defense. And those are front 7 players. So, like, Notre Dame's defensive front, as we sit here on September 28th, is so much better than it was on August 28th going into Miami, and was a non-factor in that football game, and a big reason why Notre Dame lost by 3 points there. Saw somebody say if Notre Dame played Miami today, Irish would handle them easily. I'm not sure. I think Miami has also gotten better from that game. But what we can definitively say is Notre Dame is a much, much better football team than the one that went down to Miami and played on August 31st. I'm very, very sure of that.
My mic was muted. Dang. Good for one a show, man. Always good for one a show. We're going to talk about BetMGM. As you all know, we have teamed up with BetMGM this season. We use them for our lines here at Blue and Gold, and of course, our parent company On 3. So when Tyler, James, and I talk about our predictions for the games on our Friday video, using BetMGM lines, and we do have special offers for our listeners each week. When you join BetMGM, you get access to a variety of parlay selection features like same game parlays, live betting options, and more. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use the bonus code ON3 and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. And here's how it works. You just download that BetMGM app and sign up using bonus code ON3. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. You will receive up to a $1,500 in bonus bets. If your bet loses, just make sure you use that bonus code ON3 when you sign up. Make this college football season one for the history books. Make it legendary. Go to BetMGM for more. Alrighty. Thank you, BetMGM, for sponsoring the show. I kind of want to move on to just looking at the schedule again. Is there a game on here, or if you had to pick one game where it's like, oh man, I'm at least a little bit nervous about this one, or like, hey, this is a trap game, whatever you want to say. What is that game for you? I'll start with Tyler James.
Well, I wouldn't count as a trap game, but I think USC has an offense
that the concern.
Is certainly capable of putting Notre Dame's defense in a bind. Certainly did that last year. And Jaden Mayava is a very good quarterback. So that would be the one for me in terms of the most imposing game on there. I'm not sure that there's another one that really stands out in terms of like, I mean, a trap. To me, like the trap game talk is silly because like if it was a trap, then we wouldn't know it was coming, right? Like that's the whole point of a trap. Like you don't know it's coming. So I'm not sure what that is. Maybe Notre Dame's like gets in a game where its offense commits a couple turnovers, and then that makes the game more even with a lesser opponent. But sure. I think the USC is the big one circled for me.
Eric Hansen?
For me, it's Pittsburgh, and I think we talked about this last night. It comes after Navy, so you're going from the triple option to a very, very pass-heavy, run-poor offense. USC would be, I think, the most challenging because they're good in the run game and the pass game, and they can put you in a run-pass dilemma every down. Pittsburgh can't. They're throwing the ball. But again, having faced Navy where they're running the ball every down the previous week, that's a tough gear shift, and it's going to be on the road. And Pat Narduzzi has some weird voodoo that he always tries to put on Notre Dame.
Horka?
Tylers are sticking together here. I'm going with USC. I don't really look into the football power index much, but if you do, Notre Dame is the 6th best team in the country per ESPN's FPI. And USC, even after a loss to Illinois yesterday, is at number 10. So the metrics like USC. Before the loss to the Illini, I liked USC. I might still like USC. The quarterback's good. The talent on offense is good. But the key for Notre Dame here is like they got the next 3 opponents at home, and I think they're rolling to an extent now. And we've seen what Notre Dame teams can do, especially last year's, when the Irish start rolling under Marcus Freeman. Like they get this little buzz about them, and they just start churning out wins. And I would not be shocked in the slightest. I don't think anyone here. I mean, we're talking 10-2, right? Some people on here are already talking 10-2, so I would not be shocked in the slightest if Notre Dame is 5-2 at that next bye week, and then that comes at a perfect time because it's the last weekend of October. Again, I'm getting ahead of myself here, but like we can do that, as Mike said.
Yes.
If Notre Dame is 5-2 at that bye week, and then they're just staring at November, and they're like, "All right, here's what we got. Let's." That would be 5-2, right? Or would that be 6-2? Or 4?
Boise.
I'm getting.
They have 5 November games, so you're right, Tyler.
Okay. Yeah. So like, yeah, if they're 5-2 at that bye week, they're like, okay, we've got the month of November. Isn't that what they say in the NFL? Like you learn who you are in November. Either you're a playoff team or you're not. And college football has become more and more like the NFL. Either Notre Dame will be a playoff team or not, based on what they do in November if they are 5-2 at that point. And I mean, shoot, man, Boise State, NC State, USC. I like Notre Dame in all of those games, even though my answer to your question in a very roundabout way was USC scares me the most of who's coming up.
And it's USC at Notre Dame, which USC, when's the last time they beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame Stadium? It's been a little while.
I wanted to add about weird rankings. I have it in my behind the ballot column. I use the old Sagarin ratings from the BCS just to size up what Notre Dame's opponents were in descending order. You know what they had number 3 ranked, or Notre Dame ranked? I just gave it away, number 3. They have them 3rd. So I gave the answer before. It's like Jeopardy. So now you have to guess the question. What is Notre Dame ranked in those computer rankings? 3rd. That's crazy.
2011, the last time that USC beat Notre Dame in South
Oh Bend. God, I remember that game.
That was my first game covering Notre Dame.
Was it? What do you remember about the quarterback play in that game?
Dane Chris fumbling a snap and it being returned for a touchdown.
And then didn't Andrew Hendricks come in and throw a few balls in the turf? That was
I don't remember that.
I think Reese got hurt in the game briefly or something. I'm trying to remember, but Andrew Hendricks, I was a big Andrew Hendricks honk, I thought. And he's been on our podcast and he admits that.
Well, so is Dane. Yeah, those are both great podcast guests.
Yeah, he admitted he had the talent, but he said Tommy Reese was light years ahead of him at the line of scrimmage in terms of that kind of stuff. But.
What else is on your guys' mind? We're kind of winding down the show. Anyone else want to volunteer any topics here?
I am worried. Go ahead, Tyler. Go ahead.
Just pounding on the offensive thing. Like I'm not sure the next time I'll predict Notre Dame to not score 40 points.
True.
Like I just don't like. Why would I? I'm not sure that I would feel confident that there's a defense out there that's going to limit Notre Dame to less than 40. That's like the starting point now. I think someone in the comments said earlier 45 was what they were thinking in terms of like the average of prediction for Notre Dame's offense. But that's just the way they're playing now. Obviously, things could change if they play poorly in a couple games in a row. But the way they're playing right now, it's hard to imagine thinking they don't get there.
If you're a defensive coordinator, seriously, where do you attack them? What do you try to take away? Because you got to give something up. And early on, people were saying, okay, and Arkansas did a little bit yesterday. They were saying, okay, we're going to move an 8th guy into the box. Okay, CJ Carr, and he's just throwing darts down the field.
His accuracy watching from the press box view is so awesome. Like he just doesn't miss throws. And I think I put it out on social media. Like even the scariest of his throws end up being really good throws. It was probably Jordan Faison, because who else does he throw to on the sideline? But he let it go, and I'm like, oh, no. Catch literally right where it needs to be. DB bit, receiver runs up the field, gets some extra yards. It's very, very impressive what he's doing. And to Tyler James' point on that, in that regard, because of him, and knowing what Notre Dame has at the 2 running back spot, like that's one of the most impressive things as well to watch in these games is Jeremiah Love goes out, Jadarian Price comes in, and you know that the defense cannot take a step back because Price is coming at you full speed, and it's every bit as scary as in a different way as Jeremiah Love going at you full speed. So it's the 1-2 punch there is incredible.
Eric, I don't want to get get over our skis here on this offense. But is this like fill in the blank? This is Notre Dame's best offense since
2015 when it was really humming, I think, because that had Will Fuller in it. That was kind of the linchpin in that offense, because you had to decide, if you're a defensive coordinator, do we want to put safety help over the top and open everything else up in their offense, or try to defend him one-on-one? The one guy that did try to do that was Pat Narduzzi. I don't remember how many. Tyler, were you at that game at Pittsburgh? It was like 5 touchdowns or something ridiculous. It was just and he wouldn't change.
I think it was Avante Maddox that was supposed to try to cover him, and he could not.
Right. And speaking of coverage, could I just throw something in here about Jaden Mickey real quick? I got an update on his status from his dad just a little bit ago while we were doing the show. He was in a really scary play last night for Boise against Appalachian State. Jaden Mickey used to play cornerback at Notre Dame. Boise is coming here this Saturday for the game. Jaden was on a kickoff coverage team, and his helmet flew off while he was making the tackle. He got taken off on a stretcher. Was very scary. But his dad said that they took him to the hospital. They did all the scans and MRIs. He's cleared. He was knocked unconscious. He has a concussion. He's worried about not being able to make the trip to Notre Dame because he really wants to come whether he's playing or not. But that's his status. So it looked a lot worse than it is. Not that a concussion and being knocked unconscious is a walk in the park, but at least that feels like really good news for Jaden Mickey.
It's tough to hear, man. Injuries in this sport, it's brutal. And like the Arkansas receiver, they wouldn't even show it on TV because of how gruesome it was. I'm so glad I didn't see it live. I just was looking away for a second.
Our own Chad Weaver got a photo.
Oh,
you don't want to see the photo either.
Did he put it in our?
No.
Thank God.
I was with Chad for most of the day yesterday, and I get a little squeamish. I'm not gonna lie, and I don't know why I looked, because that poor kid's gonna have a heck of a recovery. I'll just say that based on what I saw.
Yeah, Jelly's out. Joe Alt got carted off. Man, injuries suck, man. It's such a crappy part of football. All right, I think this is a great way to wrap up the show, because I mentioned Get Go in a super chat that he did after the A&M game, and I think he just copied and pasted it, because here it is again. What % chance does Notre Dame have to win out? Go around the horn. Right, Eric? This is the 50 to 60% one that we had talked about. So I'm sticking with maybe it's like 60 to 65%. Maybe
I can't wait to hear Tyler
70.
James. I'm betting that James will have the lowest.
I'm going to say 70%. That's what I'm going with. Tyler James, what do you think?
I would probably be in that 50% range. I just need to see more from the defense. Because I mean, you can as much as I'm saying I'm going to predict the offense to score 40 points every week. The defense can give up 40 points too, as we've seen. So I think Notre Dame is certainly capable of doing that. I'm not quite there yet in terms of feeling like that is what's going to happen.
Horka?
I'm a little more scared that there will be a week where Notre Dame doesn't score 40. Like that, it just seems impossible, right? As good as this unit is. And then what does the defense look like on that week? I'm with Tyler in that huge step forward taken. Thought Arkansas was going to score 30 plus easily in that game, and they did not. Didn't even score 20. That's big time for Notre Dame's defense, but every game is different. It's possible to look like you did in week 1 or 2, even if you have made strides forward. Like week 8, all of a sudden they could look like that again, and Notre Dame could be in a world of hurt if the offense isn't doing what it has been. So all that said, I think I've upped it to like 50%. Mike, if you remember 2 weeks ago, I think I gave it like 10 to 15 or 20.
What'd Jack say?
I think he was a little bit more than I might have been the most.
Thought he's even lower.
I've upped it to 50%. Yeah, I like 50%. And by the way, I don't know if this is going to influence Eric Hansen's number, but I still have the FPI page pulled up, and ESPN has it at 39.1% for Notre Dame to win out.
You know what's affecting my percentage? The game show The Price is Right. So if you thought the highest bid still wasn't high enough, you would add $1 to it. So I'm going with 71%. I'm going 1% higher than Mike.
Hey, Notre Dame fans will love that because you could have done the opposite and said,
yeah, you could have went $1.
Yeah, $1. Yeah, I'm going 71%. I'm getting up on stage and playing the game where the mountain climber goes up and you don't want him to go over the edge. Yeah, the yodeling one. And that may happen with my prediction, but I'm going with 71%.
I can change mine because it's my rules. I'm going one down, 69. 69%. Take it to the bank. Nice.
I thought you'd go with 6-7.
Oh, gosh. Brain rot over here. Tyler James, Swifties, brain rot confirmed. All right, well, that is going to do it for this show. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. It's been a fun show at Roundtable. We've had all the Blue and Gold staffers in here, different group each week, and finally got Tyler James in here. So Tyler and we got the 2 Tylers, me and Eric. Fun time. Who knows what we'll do next week? Who knows? I have family in town. I'm going to be at the game, and then I come back, and I got family, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm sure we'll do the show after the Sunday after the Boise State game. Of course, we'll be live after the game. We'll have Robbie Toma tomorrow night, 6-pack on Wednesday, recruiting show Thursday. So much happening here at Blue and Gold on this YouTube channel, and of course on our website, blueandgold.com. Got an Arkansas fan in here says, what's Marcus Freeman's buyout? Asking for a friend. Yes. Good luck. Good luck, Arkansas fans. Look, I don't think Arkansas is as bad as they showed. Like, I mean, Ole Miss is the number 4 team in the country now? And Arkansas should have won that game. And then Memphis is one of the better group of 5 teams in the country. And Arkansas, pissed that game away on the road. And
just don't look ahead at that schedule because I don't care if Bobby Petrino is the second coming of Jesus. He might not win a lot of games.
That would not have been the name I would have thought.
He's definitely not that, and we already know that. But I'm talking in a football context. Marcus Freeman ain't winning a lot of games with that roster against that schedule. Look at the schedule, guys. That's all I'm saying.
Remember when you said this is the perfect way to end the show, Mike? Is this what you had in mind?
No, I did not know that I would have to say I can confirm as someone who covered Louisville back in the day that Bobby Petrino is not Jesus. So, yeah.
I was talking about football, guys, not motorcycles.
Again, really appreciate you all for tuning in. Go. Thank you for the super chat today and the great questions. And David Knight, again, it's good to see you. Bernie, Chris, Richard, Beefeater, it's good seeing all of you. So thank you all for tuning in. Hit that thumbs up if you have not done so yet. And as always, we will catch you next time.